right? So I had to redo the audio for this video because YouTube said it had music on it that was copyright protected. And the thing is it's like you hear the music in the background, it's really low. Now this is non-copyrighted music, so it should be fine, but before I was listening to Pandora, anyway. So what I'm doing here is I'm redoing the cheekbones, and so you see there's the line there that I'm using as a guide, and you just go a little bit outside that line and you'll have the width of your cheek. It starts about at the top of the eyebrow and ends about at the bottom of the nose. And sometimes, just kind of like draw a curve as if you're drawing it straight to the mouth. Almost like you're drawing a heart, and the point will end right below the mouth. And it might look a little wide right now because you're like we're zoomed in and we're not seeing the whole thing yet, but it's not. I actually came up with this method by analyzing photos, and it's a really good experiment you can do just to train your eye and your hand-eye coordination to know where all the parts of the face will go. Notice, see, I made that side a little bit wider because I know it actually comes out a little bit more like that, and so I'm gonna make this side a little bit wider as well. And besides, you don't always need symmetrical. Sometimes things are a little different. That's the way it should be. It actually adds beauty. Oftentimes, symmetrical faces often look weird to us. So you can see the forehead actually looks like it's going to be kind of tall, and the hairline will actually go one line. See the lines that we divided the square in? That same distance up again between the eye and the nose, that distance will be where the hairline is. And then the top of the head will go at the top of the square. And then your hairline, or the hair that flops on the side, depending on how thick of hair they have, the ears are going to go almost to the edge of the square. And the hairline will fall just outside that square. And it depends how bouncy their hair is, you can have the hair come out a little bit further. Anyway, so a good technique is to open up photos of people that are facing straight and actually facing in different directions, but first you want to master the straight ahead view, or even with their head slightly tilted down. It's going to be really hard to find photos of people their whole head or their face facing straight forward, but they'll be tilted down just slightly if they're facing straight like this. And so anyway, find a good photo, turn the opacity down on Photoshop, and then just actually make a layer on top of it and draw the quick guidelines like this using the square method, where you can see that indeed most faces fall into this method here, into the square method. And so that's actually how I came up with the square method. Is I was analyzing photos and I was looking at what I thought were pretty faces, such as Avril, the singer, and Jessica Alba and stuff like this. And I wanted to see what makes them different than other women. What makes them pretty to me, and what makes comic book characters pretty to people. And what I noticed is that this ratio here is pretty much what applies to all those faces. So I designed this square method, and who knows, maybe somebody else designed it before me. I've never actually seen it exactly like I have done it with how I set up the guidelines with measurements and everything. But yeah, so it actually worked out really well. And so if you use this square method, you can always get a perfect, nice, beautiful looking face. And then if you just want to alter it a little bit, you can alter, make the eyes a little bit higher, make the forehead a little bit lower, that way the hairline comes down more, make the chin a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, altering little things like that, make it a longer face, a more squished up face, and you get different nationalities and so forth out of it. So just make an alter, but if you learn how to draw using the square method, train your hand-eye coordination, everything to draw it pretty much by memory, then when you're drawing faces, it'll just help that much more. So I recommend using the square method as often as possible until your brain has pretty much memorized it. And then when you just go draw freehand, by drawing an oval and cutting it in half, and you'll automatically, your hand-eye coordination will know where all those parts are supposed to go at the proper distances. my main problem that I had for a long time was drawing noses too long. Matter of fact, in one of my other videos, I drew the nose too long. It's a bad habit, and so I have to always remind myself when I'm, drawing to make sure my nose isn't too long, and even, draw a little bit shorter if I have to, or do quick guidelines, just, by hand, just, no measurements, just really quick for I know, okay, that's about where the nose is going to go. And so anyway, take those photos and trace over them. Turn the opacity down, make a layer on top of it, and just draw right over the photo. First, do your guidelines just for you can see, hey, yeah, this face does fall into the perfect square. And then draw the, just don't draw detail. Just, have it zoomed out, kind of far away, for you can see the whole face. Don't zoom in. Have it zoomed out, so you can see the whole face. And just draw the basic features. The quick squiggly for the nose. Draw the eyes. Just loose oval shapes, draw where the cheeks will be, where the jaw will be, and all that kind of stuff. And it's that angle of the jaw that you really want to get down by hand without having to use the square method. And that's the hardest part to train your eye and hand to do. Also, when doing the eyes, you see that inner part near the tear duct, that little line. That's usually not shaded when everything else is shaded. That usually stays lit up. And a lot of people forget to draw that part of the eye. I'm going to do another eye tutorial teaching more detail about the eye. But you can see there that part's important to make sure you draw. Alright, so this video is done and re-recorded. I'll be uploading it soon. Please leave comments and feedback. Go to part 3.